So, all the friends in my community, I once again like to take the initiative to welcome none other than Prash Trivedi, the rock star of Vedic astrology. Like when I started professionally with astrology, his books have always been my like my guiding light, my inspiration. And I feel so honored that after having a successful discussion on like topics of like Rahu, Ketu, Nakshatra on this channel, we will again be discussing with Prash on a very important sensitive topic. Like, trust me, when we talk about out of all the Dushtana Bhava, like 8th house, 12th house, definitely in order to deal with that, there are some other heavenly entities which are also into the picture. But 6th house is something with our own diligent hard work. There's a lot of attributes of it which we can control and which we can handle. And in this podcast, in this discussion, Prash is going to be giving his insights over how we can work in tandem or how we can make this house as our strength in our life. So now to Prash.
Yeah, Nipun, the thing is with 6 houses, that according to me is like a fulcrum of the chart. Okay. Like, ascendant is obviously an important fulcrum. Okay, it's yourself, so your body, your thing which you have been given on earth to work with. Okay. But even if you look at the ascendant, okay, which is the first house, now what is going to maintain that first house? The maintenance of it. So, when we maintain our body, we do whatever daily rituals and we have to do daily things in order to maintain the body. Now, where does this maintenance happen from? That's 6th house.
6 hours.
Okay. So, daily routine, the sense of daily routine. What is the house for daily routine? In
6
the chart.
hours.
6th house. Okay. Okay. So, without daily routine, we cannot maintain our physical body, right? Like there'll be problems. So actually, ascendant is being supported by the 6th house.
Yes.
And disease is a thing which happens when you are not taking care properly in the 6th. Okay, that's the result. So it's not like the 6th is the house of disease. 6th is the house of daily routine, and it just shows you when you're not in that daily routine. It gives you an indication that you're not in that. So it's an indicator house for that. So that sense of if you are going the 6th house discipline properly, then you're not likely to face 6th house problems.
Yes.
Yeah, but so 6th, you have to see it as a supporting house of the ascendant, not as an enemy house or a danger house. Because the things we do to maintain our body, which is a dharma, which I call it like once you take a human body, you have to maintain it. That's your dharma to do that. Like, that's the first dharma of a human being, to maintain their physical body properly, and that happens through 6th house. So,
Wow.
so 6th is actually a support house to us, not so then let's go to 5th house. Okay. You go to intelligence, you have it like your intelligence, and through the intelligence you find something and you find a mantra. Your mantra is 5th house, right? Okay. You found the right mantra for you and right repetition, whatever right repetition for you, like which is right praise repetition of divine, which is praise of divine, which you have experienced yourself, okay, and which you want to praise divine in that way. That's settled from 5th house, your sense of intelligence. Now, who's gonna repeat that? 6th house. The next repetition of that which you gain from 5th will still be repeated by 6th. So again, that's daily repetition. Again, routine.
And Raj, over here, I have
Yeah.
seen like, for example, like there are like those people in whose case you will find their life to be under control. Like they have a fixed schedule and they
Yeah.
stick to that. And they're like those people, irrespective of the fact that how badly they want to stick to a schedule, always something is breaking down. Like they start with, oh, my car broke down. Oh, it's like that this subordinate, he did not turn up to work. Okay,
Yeah.
this thing is giving me trouble. So I have seen
Yeah.
that no matter how much, whether we are not valuing the 6th house or not, but in order to have a life with order, comparing
Yeah.
it with a life with chaos, 6th house plays a very important role. Very true.
Yeah, and in that also, what I'm talking about is actually your own personal discipline, not the external circumstances. External circumstances can go awry for anybody. That's they can, but you have to maintain that thing, your own physical body, first house discipline. Nobody can stop you from doing that. Your own repetitions, what have you learned from the fifth house? Nobody can stop you from doing that. Okay, well, I'm talking about things which are in your hands. Sixth house bit, which is in your hands, not bit which is in other people's hand or outside circumstances, or none of. We are completely saying this things. Sixth house actually deals with things which are completely in your hands. If your car broke down also and it's getting repaired, what are you going to do in that time? You can do a lot of things in that time, and so the things which are in your hands. The sixth is the house of work. What work am I gonna do now? So first house work is there. I told you in the maintenance of the first house, sixth house is doing. Then fifth house, you learned something and you got to a praise of divine or higher in any which way. Even that sixth house will help you put it into action. Okay. So because there it is only on a thought form in the fifth. Okay. Okay. But action, earth form, it's earth house, right? 2 6 6 is earth house. And practically on earth, what you have to do things with your body. So again, sixth house comes into play. Okay. And then the third aspect is ninth house, which is called Dharma. Okay, so you learned something, you found a guru, and they have given you some practice. Okay, this is what you have to do. Now, who's going to do that practice? You learned it in ninth house. So who is going to do it? So 10th from ninth
is the sixth house.
the karma of the ninth.
Ninth. Wow, amazing. Yes, very true. Oh, I was never seeing it in this light. Yes, it's actually the karma of the Dharma house.
Yes. So 159, all the main trines have their fulcrum in sixth. Without sixth, you can't do 159.
159.
And sixth house, they say Shadripu, the six enemies of humankind.
Yes.
Low, more, whatever, people can Google that and, are in the sixth house. They say they sit in the sixth house. Okay. So that means that sixth house, if you get above these enemies in the sixth house, then what do you get? Liberation from cycle of birth and death, which is 12th house. So 12th house is totally dependent on sixth.
Sixth house.
Whether 12th is going to happen or not is dependent on sixth.
Sixth house.
Okay. So even moksha is dependent on sixth. So how will you go above these six enemies? By having discipline. Right? Where is that discipline going to come from or reside? Sixth house. So discipline of the first house you're doing, discipline of the fifth house you're doing, discipline of ninth house. Why the sixth house? And through that, you get above the six Shadripus. And you get moksha. Okay. So six is, so whether you have to do something in the world, let's just say, like, even if you have to do anything in the world, you have to keep your body healthy for that, right?
Yes.
And working. So sixth house is important. Now, that's why it's called a house of job now. The people say it's a house of job. You take a job. But why is it a house of? It is only a house of job because you are maintaining your first house through that, which is necessary for your job.
Makes sense.
Yeah, if you don't maintain your body, then you can't do a job, right? So that's why it is the house of job. Not then, and in the fifth house, whenever you come up with an idea, any idea even for normal work, or I'm not talking about like something in a spiritual sense, even in a material sense, if you come up with an idea or anything, the application of it again comes from fifth to sixth. The whole responsibility comes to sixth.
Yeah, Prash, I was just watching this just a couple of minutes back only. I was watching this debate of like Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I was like just wondering the way, the conviction of Donald Trump is, irrespective of all the hardship, all the setbacks and all. I was just wondering in my mind, he must have a strong sixth house. His capacity to fight back. Oh my God. He, like in this way, because from the routine, discipline, consistency, but our capacity to win over enemies, conquer our enemies. I guess sixth
Yeah.
house plays an important role over there as well, right?
Yeah. But enemies again, what you're talking about is this external enemies, external competition.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like with the like that thing, external that thing. But enemies are inside. The six enemies of man, humans are inside yourself.
Silence. Yes.
Okay, you have to win over them. Okay, but that's the more actual work of sixth house. For that, 159 has to function via sixth. Okay. So when 159 are not there, then you will be more into the external competitions of the world. Okay. Yeah, because that's not by the Dharma triangle. But even if the Dharma triangle is working well in a chart, or it is more active, let's say, and a person has a higher sense of that thing, like goal setting on earth, not just goals here. They want to set goals for afterlife and, longer perspective, longer term. For that also, sixth becomes the crucial house. Because if you don't bring in and put in the work in sixth, nothing is happening, neither in this world or any other world.
I guess, yeah, Prash, that is the only reason Saturn is the significator and connected strongly with sixth house. Your
Yeah.
capacity to work hard, stay disciplined.
And both the energy planets, Mars, the energy planet, connected to sixth. Okay.
Yes.
And the use of energy in a disciplined long-term way, Saturn
is also connected to
sixth house. When if there's no grahas in the sixth house, let's say there are no grahas in the sixth house.
Okay.
Okay, then the sixth lord will become important.
Yes.
Okay, and you have to activate it
Yeah.
in your chart. That activation is necessary. Okay, so that works. Then we talked about karakas.
Okay.
Everyone will have Saturn in the chart somewhere.
Yeah.
So just think of it as a sixth house agent, no matter where it is. Mars also, think of it as sixth house agent. Okay. Rahu also, think of it as a sixth house agent.
Yes, considered as very strong here. Yes.
Mercury also. So four
Yes.
grahas. Mars,
Wow.
Saturn,
And
Rahu, Mercury.
Mercury.
Yeah. So you're not always looking at just, oh, if there are planets in sixth house or not. Okay. If somebody says, I don't have any planets in sixth house, no, I can't do any sixth house. No, obviously I can't do anything because I don't have anything there.
Yes.
Lazy people will come up with this.
Yes, the reason, yes. Yeah, because they are not using the sixth house, right? Yes.
Yeah. So they say, I have nothing in there. I have no planets in sixth house, so I don't have to use it. I mean, really, like, I don't really. But the point is, you have Mars, you have Saturn, you have Rahu, you have Mercury, you have the sixth lord. You have 5 graphs still.
Yeah.
Out of
Very
9.
true. Yes, that's very true. That's very
Which
true.
are connecting to the sixth house.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true.
And then there might be another graha aspecting or whatever. That is another matter. So what I'm saying is there is no excuse. Because the thing is, whenever you don't do the sixth house, it is basically laziness. Now, so if you looking at people's sixth house, like no matter what they want to achieve, no matter what their goal is, different people can have even like worldly goals, any kind of goal in this world or whatever. Then you will have to say like, okay, you will have to work for it. Basically, you'll have to put in that extra work, and it has to be daily work. It's not a work which you do one day and don't do the second day or the third day. It has to be continuous work. People say Rahu gives good results in material way. Okay, Rahu can give good results in material. But how? If it had no connection to sixth house, how will it give the results? If the person is not ready to work under Rahu also, will they get the results? They won't get the results. But Rahu is automatically carrying that work ethic of the sixth house. That's why it's getting the results.
The ascendant lord in the sixth house. What is the thing which you want to recommend that person? Okay.
Okay. Now, that person cannot deviate from the routine at all. They're not allowed to. They have no choice but to be in daily routine. It is taking away the choice. If it's not in sixth house, people can sometimes decide that I want to be, I don't want to be. Right?
Yes.
First order in sixth is like if you get off the routine a little bit, even the result will be quick. You will see the
Yes.
and some people, even they don't get the result that quickly. But first lord in sixth means that thing, the feedback will be very. So those people always know, if I don't do this at this time or this thing every day, then this is gonna happen. And
And you
they'll see
know,
that happen.
and brush for here as well. Like for example, first lord in the sixth. But let's say for example, if it is a like a natural benefic and comparing it with a natural malefic. So for example, if you are a Cancer rising and you
Yeah.
have like a moon
Moon.
in the sixth house and comparing it with like say for example, if you have a Scorpio rising or you have a Capricorn rising and then you have ascendant Lord Mars or Saturn in the
Yeah.
sixth house, how it will create a
Only
difference?
okay. The difference in that will be like whether you would be very more militant if it's Mars about your sixth house discipline, like
Makes
like
sense.
more militant, or which you will be like, okay, I have to put in this much exercise every day, this kind of thing. With a Benefic in that thing, you will be making sure that you are just doing the basic requirements of the body, in a sort of pleasant manner, whatever, rather than going gung ho.
Yes, yes. Makes sense.
So that is the only difference, like in energy difference and stuff like so. The final point is discipline, okay? And in that discipline, you can decide what is your goal. you know I mean, there's a like a you maintain your body for daily chores, okay? And then there are people who maintain their body for war,
There's a difference.
or like,
Obviously, there's a difference.
okay,
Definitely, very
okay, so
well.
there's a difference. So if your goal is to do that, then you'll have to put in more extra work every day, right? For that. Yeah.
And for example, a brush, if you move it to the second house, if for example, because if second lord is in the sixth house, it has gone like what do you call that? 5 places ahead of it. So how can we see it? Like, is the family, your own immediate family, your kutum, your own parivar is going to be in against you? You are going to have conflicted interest, or how is it going to be? Or your money is going to get struck? How will you see
No,
it?
I'm just seeing it as like your diet, which is second house is first, your food
Yes,
intake
yes.
has to be disciplined every day. So, I mean, six is a saying discipline, basically. And it's bringing discipline to the significations of whatever house lord is there. Now, that discipline is basically being forced on you in this life, which is good. Even if it's not there, you should have the discipline anyways. Okay. But here it is forced. Okay. So, in relation to diet, family, whatever, finances, the discipline is forced in all those significations. It's a
Wow.
forced discipline, which is not a bad thing. People find it bad because, like, oh, why do I have to be, because a lot of beings are running away from discipline. Okay. Now, that's when sixth house becomes a problem. And if you're not running away from discipline, and if you want to get into discipline, then sixth house is the most benefic house. It's going to give you liberation. It's going to make sure everything on your earth, your health stays good. It's going to make sure your things in the world are always in order and everything is functioning for your survival, for your livelihood. Livelihood, your health, and moksha. So your dharma, earth, kam, moksha is going to help you in all four. If you just have one keyword, discipline. So that work ethic house is six. And tell me, what is the thing which you can achieve without work ethic?
Yeah, definitely. Nothing big and nothing in long term.
Small.
You might have small gratification, but nothing big. Yes.
Yeah. So nothing, even you can't, if you take out the work ethic from your body, you can't even maintain your body. That's the level of situation which comes down from the lack of sixth house.
Yeah.
So if you're seeing people like that thing, so lack of sixth house is that. So sixth house is a fulcrum house, actually.
Wow.
Or dharma, arth, kam, moksha. It is the like necessary, and so it's not a negative house actually. It's negative only when you are running away from the work.
So, Prash, let's say, for example, if someone has a third lord in the sixth house, that means
Yeah.
that third lord has gone 4 places ahead of it. So, does it mean that your own siblings and friends are gonna be they might have well intentions for you, and just because of that only they are pushing you, they are discouraging you, criticizing you, so that you should meet your best potential, so that you should become the
I mean,
best version of yourself. How do you
yeah,
see it?
yeah,
Third lord in the sixth.
yeah, but yeah, which is your own sense of energy. Third is energy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So your energy should go into discipline yourself. Don't dissipate your energy in
Wow.
undiscipline.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And then relatives and stuff will all be fine anyways. If you are so self-disciplined, what is anybody gonna, like your brothers or what friends? They'll all be like, they say, oh, this guy's disciplined, what to say to.
Wow. Wow. And I guess, Prash, this will make the person very competitive as well, right? Very forceful.
I mean, competitive, like first with yourself, not with others.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yes, yes. Very
Like, because you have to set your own standards for what your own goal with yourself is. That's where the energy has to go.
Amazing.
So third day, the energy lord is going into the sixth, means the energy has to be applied properly and in a disciplined manner. Like, otherwise, problems. Sixth house gives problems only once the discipline is not there. So it's imperative in this case that all of the energy is used in a very disciplined manner. Like, if you don't have self-discipline with third lord in sixth house, do you know what I'm saying? That energy will create trouble. And
Wow.
what will it feed? What will it feed the energy, the third lord's energy? The Shadripus.
Yes.
The Shadripus, it will feed that
Yes.
in the sixth. Okay. And then there is a problem, So, so sixth, like, so if you think about tapasya, the concept of tapasya, when beings are being very disciplined and rolling themselves in like meditation or like that kind of way, that's sixth house.
Amazing.
All tapasya is sixth house. Like, whatever you have to do, and you do it. You don't procrastinate. You don't say like, I'm going to do it later. I'm going to do it, that thing. You say, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it every day. I'm going to do this, make up all of that. That is sixth house. Okay. The people say accidents. Okay. From fourth lord and sixth, you might have a vehicle accident.
Fourth lord and sixth. Yes, sir.
Okay. Accidents or vehicle accident or whatever. But when does accident happen? In a vehicle, when you're not paying attention.
Yes.
You're not being disciplined enough properly, mostly. Sometimes it can happen with some other things, but if you're disciplined, then your chance of escape, even in that, even if it happens from some other person's mistake, is more.
And Prash, how would you see it as from the emotional well-being point of view? Does that make person more insecure, or will it make person secure? Like, how is the emotional well-being of the person is going to be with fourth lord in this sixth?
Okay. The thing is, as much hard work you're going to do every day, you'll feel psychological well-being. If you, from the morning to night, you say like, I've done all my works, what I was supposed to do today, then you'll feel at ease and can sleep.
Wow. Very true. Very true.
And if you don't do whatever you're supposed to do in the day, then you better finish it for that person before you're going to even get a sleep rest, because fourth is that rest and sleep also. These kind of beings, if they don't work hard, then the Shadripus can affect the psychology very easily.
Very true. Very true. Prash, I've also seen that like lot many people, because see, Indian mindset and culture is different because we have joint families, big families. But in the West, people who are like single moms, single people and all, they find so much solace with their pets. Like some of them, like I was in Canada. Oh my God, they have like when they travel, they take their pets with them. They take them out on a walk or stroll in a proper stroller and all. So much love and affection attached to your pets. Amazing, with this.
Yeah, but the thing is, because that's a misdirection of energy management again, lack of sixth house. Because if you have sixth house properly and you understanding it, you use your energy not in maintaining a pet, you do it in maintaining your own disciplines with yourself. Okay, when you don't do that work, that energy automatically goes into something else, like pets. Okay. So, and because they know if it doesn't go into that, then it'll just come and bother their psychology even more. And that energy will just jump. The Shadripus will jump on the psychology.
Yes, Prash, I remember there was like one show, You. So in that show, he wanted to, screw with someone's mind. So what that person did, the protagonist character in the show, what did he do? He knew that, okay, if I'm going to, screw up his schedule. Like he changed his alarm clock, he changed his routine, he said put his stuff over here. The other morning that person woke up and he was furious because he was in a habit of finding everything spick and span. You screw up his schedule and he was like crazy, he's going nuts.
Yeah, because that other person has to put the energy back into getting the schedule back, the sixth. Okay,
Yes.
but if you look at the sixth house, it is the third from the fourth. Okay,
Yes.
third. So it is actually the strength of the fourth house. So your psychology can never be strong if you're not
Wow.
working, if you're not
Wow.
disciplined. If you're not a hardworking, disciplined person, it's of the sixth house, your fourth will always suffer. When sixth lord is in sixth, okay, that means situation is such, basically, again, that discipline is required for you in all areas very strongly in this life. Because whenever that graha is there and it's in period will come, enter period, sometime it will come, even if it doesn't come in Mahadasha, major period will come in inter periods, and you are not on the ball, what will happen? Shad Ripus will be strong. Right. They will be strong. So you think it's a great thing your Lord is in its own house. But the point is, it requires very much being on top of things. Otherwise, its dasha will not be a positive thing, it'll be a negative thing.
Sixth lord in the sixth house, or let's say, for example, a planet which is exalted in the sixth house, what does that mean? Am I in control of my problems, or my problems have a better say over my life?
It means the amount of discipline you have to have, okay, is increased, basically. If other people can do a little bit away with little bit of things, they can get away with here and there stuff, in that, like your discipline and that thing, that being won't. So that means like you have to put in the effort 100% plus more. Put in that 108, put that 8% extra over. Don't take chance, with the 90.
Prash, that only reminds me of this thing because, it's like, okay, my father is like Aquarius Lagna, and his sixth lord is the moon, and it is placed in the eighth house in the Hasta. He is so meticulous, punctual with his discipline, like meditation, like even if he has been those circumstances that there's some health issue, there's a COVID thing, even he was in his government job, he was posted in some difficult postings, but he has a niyam of waking up at 3:50. At 4, he has to be in this lotus position doing meditation. And trust me, on this thing, I envy him. That how can you be so disciplined, man, with your schedule?
No, because the less leeway is there. The Graha is giving less leeway. You have to know that you have to do more than that to be on top of it. Do you know what I'm saying? So if 6,000 that kind of position, if it forces discipline on you, that's not a bad thing at all. It's not a bad thing because you should be disciplined even if that force was not there. Let's say that force is not there. You should still be like that as a human being. But here, in the cases, so that's not an unfortunate thing. People might find that unfortunate. Oh, if I don't do discipline completely, things don't go right for me or they go bad for me quickly. That's okay. That means at least it's showing you like how much you need. So take it in a positive way. So sixth house has to be taken. Okay, any problem is happening to sixth house, more work and more discipline. That's all.
How do you see the seventh lord in this?
Let's say in your seventh house dealings, okay, which are that things, dealings with the world. All dealings with the world are seventh house. You'll have to be very disciplined. say.
Wow.
You can't think of this or that or have mental notions about this or that notion or that notion. Everything should be just work and discipline. You have to take every dealing actually. Whenever you deal with somebody, that it will require some work. Anything you do, anything with anyone or because in the world, you're always going to deal with some people. You're not an island. You have to actually have this idea that everything means work. Like you can't see it as pleasure or this or that. Like you have to see everything as okay, this much work, this will be that much work, this will be this much work. Do I have the time to do this work or not? Does that fit into my routine? That much work which is required for that dealing? That kind of calculation has to be very strong. First is you and whoever is sitting in front of you anytime, that's yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So in that dealing, how much work is required? All dealings required like work and that thing, and whatever work will be required, that will be expected of you. That work. That's why, like, you go in a job, like, okay, and there is a person who is assigned you that some work. So that person will tell you, you have to do this. So when you're dealing with that thing, the moment you meet that person, this much work will come at you. Like, do you understand?
Yes.
Do you understand? So you have to be ready for that. You have to, the whole world is actually work anyways, but this person has to be very, very aware of that in that way. And they have to match, like, okay, I have to take care of myself, right? First house. Okay. And if I put more energy in the seventh house, dealings, and my first house gets neglected. First house, because first house is also depending on the sixth.
Yes.
So you have that energy, and you took out that energy and you just put it into dealing with others, and you didn't take care of yourself.
Yes.
Then what will happen? Then who will face the consequence? Actually, seventh lord and sixth will give the consequences more to first house. See, seventh lord and sixth tell that you take care of your ascendant always. You don't have to tell that to the first lord and sixth.
You have your eighth lord in the sixth house.
Eighth house is a tester house. It tests you. It is therefore testing you, which is testing your psychology, actually, fourth house. So fourth house is your psychology. It is for testing. And once fourth house is that thing, holds up to the tastes of eighth house, then only you are given moksha, 12th. Okay, eighth will give you the tests to the fourth. Now, sixth is the
It's
strength of the
discipline and strength.
fourth.
Fourth, yes. Strength of the fourth, yes.
So now 8 and 6, what is it saying? Okay, let's see how much strength you have in your psychology. Let's say situation gets tough, right? And then you'll have to respond. And how will you respond? Your response will be dependent on whatever work and discipline you are doing. If you have a lot of work and discipline going on, you can respond in that way. But if you've been lazing around, then you can't.
And I guess, Prash, with this, in your daily life, or for you to striving to be disciplined, life might be throwing some unexpected challenges as well, because the eighth lord. So suddenly
Yeah.
something breaking down, suddenly something will fire.
Yeah. And that's when, if you are disciplined and in a work ethic way, you can handle. I'll handle this, then I'll handle that.
Yeah, because
No
I guess
problem.
in this way, it's the 11th. Even the eighth lord has gone, 11th from it. So there
Yeah.
might be unexpected challenges, problems, gains, and so many things.
Yeah, but gains will only happen if you can handle it. If you're able to handle it, then it gives you gains. Then you think the Raj Yoga has happened.
Yes. Very true.
But it's not Raj Yoga until you can handle.
So if you have the ninth lord in the sixth house, how do you see this combination?
Yeah, which I said the same thing. What is your dharma? Whatever you are supposed to do on earth, do it, fulfill it completely. Do the full job. You're born for doing something. Do that. Whatever Guru is saying, ninth house, whatever has been told, what you have to do. You have to fully do it. And if you don't, then ninth and sixth will create problems. If you do it, then it'll give you moksha. It works both ways. But it is like, okay, the work is clear to you. That this is that thing, I have to do it. Okay. But then it comes the matter of actually doing it. And that's where most people have problems, like actually doing things. Not, the concept is there, but the execution.
Yes. And Prash, like for example, if you have your 10th lord in the sixth house, so it has gone like 9 places ahead of it. And just because in your daily work life there will be
Dharma of karma. Dharma of
responsibility.
karma.
Yes.
Dharma of karma.
Wow. So your ethics, like for example, let's say for example, if you put you in a position where there is a lot of scope to earn under the table money, to have some bribe and all, but whether the native does that or not, that we will get to know what is the state and dignity of the 10th lord in this six.
No,
How
it's
can
not
we let
about
it
these
down?
things. I'll tell you what it is about. It is about, actually, 10th house means that you are going to affect more people, a lot of people.
Wow.
Okay. Now you're going to affect a lot of people. For that, your own discipline has to be in order or not.
Amazing.
Without 6th house, there is no 10th. I mean, 2, 6, 10 cycle. Without 6th house, 10th is not even. It's got nothing to stand on.
Very true. Very true. Very true. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2, 6, 10, the trine in that chart. So 10th is dependent on 6th, which we know, like, anyways. Without discipline, self-discipline, how will you manage others? Which person who doesn't have self-discipline manages other people?
Yes, Prash, you're actually taking us to the crux, to the gist of the house. And this
But
is
it's actually
also
practical. It's a practical way, even practically. Have you seen anybody managing 10th house is management? Managing other people and doing big projects who don't have their self-discipline or 6th house in order. Is that actually practically feasible anywhere?
It's like a typical remedy as well for people who have problems, that when my juniors don't listen to me, people who have big businesses. Oh, I'm never able to retain my staff. My people, they come to me and they leave very fast. I always have issues with my staff. Definitely, if you can work on it.
Problem is not on the 10th house.
It's with the 6th house. It's
Yeah.
very
Your foundation is not strong from the 6th house, then 10th will suffer. That's why I said it's a fulcrum of the chart. 6th house is the fulcrum of the chart. Without this, nothing, no house can
function. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So if the 11th lord is in the 6th house, it has gone 8th place ahead of it. So does that mean that your friends and your wishes are going to create obstacle in your rigidity with your schedule?
11th house is a group. Okay. So if you're in a group, do you have some discipline? Do you have to do some things different, like in a group than when you are alone? You have to you have to do something, like you have to combat your sense of self, your first house.
To blend with the group. Yes.
Blend with the group. Now that work is the 11th house work, which again 6 will do. 6 will do that work for you for the 11th. Otherwise, you can't be in 11th. Okay. If you don't have that discipline, you cannot be in the 11th. So forget about the gains. Group happens, then gains happen. So what they call networking right now in this day and age, right? All that is 11th house, right? So like that thing. So 6th house is that work which will go into being part of the group. So that is where the whole sense of that thing. Do you know what I'm saying? If not, then the 8th house means end. 11/6 means end of.
Yes. 11th house. Yes.
End of. Know that thing. End of the group. And without group, nobody has gains on it.
And Prash, when we talk about if someone has the 12th lord in the 6th house.
12th house is sense of freedom, right? Like main freedom, like for example, 12th house is finally Moksha house, which is like freedom of cycle of birth and death. Okay, that's the final, that thing, main goal you can set from 12th house. But you can set normal, some people said they don't set that higher goal, they set a goal of some kind of freedom on earth. Okay, they set that goal. Okay, but if you set that goal, what will you need to do for that? You'll have to work hard, right? Any kind of 12th house goal, you'll have to work hard for it. So 12th out in 6 means that work is cut out for you. You'll know that if I want this much freedom in this existence, I need to put in this much work. If I want this much freedom, I have to put this much work. If I want that much freedom, I'll have to put that. So that equation of work to freedom will be, it's bringing clarity to it.
So, Prash, in this context, I wanted to ask, for example, like sometimes when people have like more than 3 planets in one house, so they say that, for example, in Osho's chart, in Amitabh Bachchan's chart, like some of the people with exceptional success, you will definitely find that their whole life is concentrated to one specific area. So, for example, if you have 4 planets in the 6th house, and I'm sure a lot of the people in the audience, they would have, or they will be knowing someone who would have 4 planets in the 6th house. So how will it contribute if the whole chart is resonating and vibrating, reverberating from the 6th, being controlled by the 6th? So how
I mean that means, like, your work is cut out, like if you're 4 planets in 6th house, you understand that if you don't have routine, if you don't have that thing, the whole thing will fall apart so fast for you. Then you cannot even, like have time to react like that, So they are very much on their toes every day. People who are on their toes every day,
I've seen them. I've seen that hardship. Trust me, I've
Yeah.
seen that level of hardship. I've seen those people. Yes.
No, because otherwise, if they don't, then the other whatever negatives or 6,000 disease, death, like deaths, whatever it is called, like problems. Let's just call them problems.
And Prash, I also want to ask you this thing because I'm sure because your aura, your consciousness is on a different, very high religious spiritual level. But when we talk about generally, like when we the regular layman people, for example, whose problems are still attached to roti, kapda, makan, like food, shelter,
Yeah,
and all of that. So, for example,
all of that
I've
can be
often
solved by
seen,
six. These are 6,000
yeah,
problems only. So
yeah,
6,000, like if you put in the work, you'll get all of those things. Like let's say like most unfortunate people on earth. Do you know what I'm saying? Like people who have no luck whatsoever, zero. Okay. They can do manual labor from 6,000, survive, right? Like so many people just do daily manual labor
yes, yes,
and
yes,
survive.
yes,
So,
yes.
so with six, you are surviving even with zero luck. Sixth is that benefactor where even you don't need, like you're not born in a privileged family, you don't have any that thing, you don't have anything, like, but you still can survive using daily wage.
Yes, hard work, discipline,
Yeah.
work.
And in that situation, if you don't do, you won't eat. Things are so black and white and clear, right?
The universe. So, and Brad, when we talk about the red, we see that there's one way of looking at the debt as the credit and loans our liabilities. When we talk about certain debts which you acquire from the mistakes done by your ancestors, to your grandfathers, I see like they're like children who are born in some bitter family rivalry. They are like
But yeah, but
families.
all of that is finally by your own actions. Wherever you're born, finally you're born in that condition by your own actions. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, so your karma is matching that frequency, and that's why you are in that
You're born with
situation.
this alignment.
Yeah,
Amazing.
but and that, what would that mean for a being in that life? Just work, some extra work. You know, some kids are working from age of 5 and 6 for day. What does it mean? Even finally, the actual thing of all of that would be only countered by more work in this life, right? There isn't, and that countering has to come from 6,000. That sense that I have to, whatever my situation, circumstance, or whatever is, I have to do work of that level and according to that.
Amazing.
You can say you
It's
have.
like, yeah, but I actually got to know about the importance of the trying in this discussion because, definitely it's like, it's like the way you mentioned the roti, kapda, makan, the basic human needs get
Yeah,
fed because of this trying. Second house, your
that's
money.
6,000.
Sixth house, your discipline,
Food,
your work.
food.
Yes, and the 10th, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah,
And you
and
also
10 is not
establish
even
a,
important. 10 is not important for most people. It doesn't matter if you go to 10, but 2, 6 are important, right? Not everybody has to manage people.
yes, very true, very true. Yes. And the way you
But 2, 6
establish
is
a
enough for survival on Earth. 2 and 6. Right?
amazing, amazing. And the way you
So,
established a connection with the trines as well, 159, that is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. 10 is a like that thing. I mean, if somebody's calling it is there, or they have to do that, that is that they have to do that. That's management, more bigger impact, and all these kind of things. That's not everybody has to do that. Like, some people can just do their daily work and survive like 2, 6. But that's also requires discipline, right? Does a manual labor have to have a basic amount of discipline to get up in the morning and do that work for the day and get the pay in the evening? And
I've seen like
yeah, so that's why they call the 6 house the house of paycheck. That your paycheck is
yeah, that consistent bi-weekly check, weekly check, your monthly checks, they all comes from the sixth house. And I've seen Prash, that's the reason I've seen like planets like Rahu, Saturn, Mars, they could be very difficult to deal with. And I've seen people who are disciplined with consistent hard work, diligent hard work, discipline. I've seen people like the thing is, when you find these hard planets, even in the amazing house, like this could be fifth house, ninth house, but still I find people complaining. They do not know how to live with it. But I've seen people with Saturn in the sixth, Rahu in the sixth, Mars in the sixth, consistently without any complaints. putting hard work, leaving it unconditionally to the gods, to the hands of the universe, and doing their job with a consistency.
Because
So
sixth is
definitely
a
sixth house.
because sixth is a practical house, right? It's a practical house. It'll say like, I
Amazing.
can do this. This is the work I can do in a day, the amount, and I'm doing it. Okay. Once you do that, you have a good night's sleep.
Because you earned it. You earned
Yeah,
that.
but you don't do it, you don't. Yeah, it can depend for anybody, and then people have all kinds of issues related to that. People are having insomnia and all kinds of things. See what I'm saying? Because you're not putting in that work, which is necessary for per day. It's a day to day, every day. It's not like,
And Prash, I've also seen this in this way as well. For example, we discussed that, okay, what contributes towards your work order and discipline. So that is what we saw, how the other house lords, if they are placed in the sixth house, they're gonna behave. But also I've seen that in wheresoever the sixth lord also goes in the chart, somehow,
yeah.
that deals as a
But
challenge.
I told you, like, even if that is not there, if you don't have planets in sixth house or anything, doesn't matter. You can still have work ethic because Mars will be there, so Saturn will be somewhere, Rahu will be, Mercury, sixth lord will be somewhere. I already said that 5 factors are there helping you establish a work ethic. That's more than enough. 5 out of 9 are still minimum. That's what Jyotish should say to people. Work. That's work. If you want it, work for it. Or if this is the situation, work to get out of the situation. If you're not getting a more, like a bigger job, take the smaller job. Do that first.
Yes, Raj, you have trust me, Raj. It was so grateful this session because before that, I did not look at the sixth house with this much awareness.